All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the full elected is out there pushing, laboring, believing, listening on to this truth. All right, with our sincerity. And may the blessing bless be upon houses. All right, the title and topic of this lesson is going to be all right, circling down the drain. All right, this place is circling down the drain. And as you see, I have this article right here. It's titled Over 50,000 Jobs in the U.S. May Have Been Lost in the Month of October, according to a new report. All right, you know, let's continue on. It says, in a recent analyst, or so like in a recent analysis, economists at Goldman Sachs have projected a significant downturn in U.S. employment figures for October 2025, estimating a net loss of 50,000 non-farm payroll jobs. Right, and I looked into the non-farm payroll jobs, right, and it's pretty much this right here, right. So it says all major non-agricultural industries such as manufacturing, construction, retail, and professional and business services, man. All right, so damn near everything, man. Right, majority of people. Right, so it says a loss of about 50,000 jobs in that. Right, this goes to show you, man. This place is genuinely circling down a drain, man. All right, you're seeing the cost of living going up. You're seeing the lack of jobs, right? You're seeing a lack in pay. All right, you're seeing Jake having to work more and more hours, right? Jake out here having to work two jobs, all right, two, three jobs. You know, I met an individual, and I forgot where I met him at, man. But this guy told me, man, he was working. He was working 24-hour shifts, all right, for a week straight. It was like when he got his his paycheck, he saw the hours, and it was like 200 something hours, man. Shit, maybe even a little bit more than that. All right. But this just goes to show you how through this place is, man. Right, that the economy, the Babylonian economy, is failing, is collapsing, it's circling down the drain, man. And more of these Babylonians, man, are starting to realize this, man. All right, it's not how it used to be, years ago, decades ago. All right, it's very fragile in that sense, man. All right, and that's also going to lead to uproars of the people, lead to hyperinflation, lead to lack of goods, lack of food. All right, you know, also gonna lead to work strikes. All right, where people aren't gonna go to work, they're gonna start protesting and striking. You know, I remember, a couple years back, when the truck drivers, were not satisfied with their pay and they went on a strike. And by that halt, man, that really, was doing a toll to the Babylonian economy, man. Right? Gas wasn't coming to gas stations, food wasn't going to grocery stores. Whatever was there at gas stations or grocery stores was costing more, so that also led to inflation. All right. But as we inch closer and closer to the end, we're gonna see more increase of lack of work, more increase in people losing their jobs, especially with the whole thing that happened with that government shutdown, right? You had a lot of government workers that was out of work, right? And some still had to go to work and they weren't getting paid, basically working for free. All right, but this just goes to show you this place is finished, man. The Babylonian dollar doesn't even hold the same weight how it used to, man. All right. I'm going to read a little bit more on this. It reads, It reads, this forecast highlights ongoing challenges in the labor market, influenced by both organic job growth trends and specific government policies. According to this report, U.S. non-farm payrolls likely shrunk by 50,000 roles in October, as stated by Goldman Sachs economist. This negative figure stems from a combination of factors. The bank's proprietary job growth tracker indicated a slowdown, registering only 50,000 new jobs in October, down from 85,000 in September. However, this modest growth was more than offset by the impact of the government's deferred resignation program, which is expected to reduce payrolls by approximately 100,000 positions. All right, so a lot of jobs and government jobs are being affected right now. All right. Continue on, says the Deferred Resignation Initiative, launched earlier in 2025 by the Trump administration, allowed thousands of federal employees to depart from their roles while continuing to receive paychecks until September 30, 2025, and the end of the fiscal year. All right. And I remember hearing about this too, right? Where, they was, telling certain government workers where, basically telling you, to resign, resign, but you'll still get paid up to a certain amount of time. All right. Going to show you, right, they're cutting jobs, right? And also even makes you think about how they're, pushing so hard with this AI, with these robots, in these factories, and, trying to take over these certain type of jobs, man. All right. Okay. But all nonetheless, this place is finished, man. All right. Years ago, decades ago, right? It was a necessity to have workers, man. Right? It was a lot of jobs, back in the day. But now it's tough. Now it's harder. You got people that's going long periods of time without work, man. I was talking to this lady, right, and she was in the same industry as I was. She had a degree in a certain field, right, and we were speaking about how the job market is bad, and she was telling me that she went 2 years trying to land a position, man. All right. Going to show you, man, hey, these high school diplomas or these college degrees do not matter. All right. It's very bad out here, man. And a lot of more people are getting woken up to this, man. Right? Let me grab this real quick. This is High Guy 1-6. It reads, ye have so much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. And that is exactly what it is like in Babylon, America. All right. You every time you get paid, right, it basically goes in the account and comes out the account same day. All right. Because in a matter of 24, 48 hours, majority of that pay is gone. All right. And it's not even enough. It's considered a luxury in Babylon to be able to have a small savings, to be able to have some walk around money, right? Because the cost of living is so much and the work is very little, right? You'll see 200 people apply for one position. It's very bad out here, man. And the lack of work and money is ultimately going to lead to increase in violence, increase in crimes, increase in the uproars of the people. All right. You're going to just see more and more people bug out here, man. All right. Also going to even lead to increase in layoffs, man, and hiring freezes, man. All right. And a lot of companies have hiring freezes going on right now still, from years ago. All right. This is Revelation 6:6. It reads, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see that thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And that's, pretty much what we're seeing right now with, with the inflation. All right. The US dollar doesn't have that same value, right? And we're gonna even see even more inflation, more hyperinflation, man. Right? Picture this: going to a grocery store, right, or wherever you go to purchase your food items, all right, and trying to get a dozen eggs, right, a carton of eggs, and you're paying $50 for that, man, or you paying $100 for that, or gas is costing you $20 a gallon, $15 a gallon, $10 a gallon for regular. All right. A case of water costing you $30, $40, $50, $100, man. All right. This is about to be a reality in Babylon, America. Okay. They say supply and demand. The demand is high, but the supply is very low. And when the demand is high and the supply is low, what does that do? What does that affect? That affects the pricing, right? Now the prices go up because now it is a rare commodity, right? It is a very scarce and rare commodity to come across. So now the prices are going to skyrocket, man. And the people that is out of jobs, the people that can't afford it, what are they going to resort to? Violence, cannibalism, looting, all right, and so forth. This is why it's very important in these days, in these final days, to really get right with Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shai. Because the servants of Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shai are going to be well kept in these times that we're coming into. The servants of Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shai are going to be fed. They're going to receive water to drink. They're going to have a roof over their head. They're going to be well kept in these times, man. While you got people out here bugging out, getting ready to do all types of horrendous acts in order to survive, the servants of the Lord are going to be sane. All right. They're going to be stable. They're going to have that stability. Okay. There's even talks of, what happened in 2008, with the crash. There's talks of, basically the same thing looking like it's about to happen now. And I did a lesson on this, a little while back, but, we're seeing this place circling down a drain, man. So, lack of jobs, a lot of people getting laid off, government shutdown was affecting a lot of workers. People could hardly afford to pay their mortgages. Foreclosures are increasing at a high rate in this place, man. The Babylonian economy is finished, and if you don't see it, you're tweaking, man. You're bugging. It's plain as day to see that this place is finished. This is 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, verse 21, and it reads, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." Right? And when we had this whole thing going on with the the C-19, the unemployment, you got the unemployments, what's the other one called? The PPPs, the stimulus checks, all this money was coming out. People was like, man, hey, it's good. I got money. I could afford this. I could afford that. Everybody thinking it's all good, man. All right. Thinking life was good. But like they say, right, like the scripture says, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. And that's exactly what these people are getting to experience now, man. They thought it was sweet before. They thought everything was all cupcakes and rainbows. But these people are coming to a rude awakening of realizing that what they thought was a reality, or what they thought was so stable and unable to be destroyed or collapse, is falling before their eyes. That's why you see an increase in depression rates. That's why you see an increase in all these these mental problems, man. Because people are bugging out. This is 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter, verse 22, and it reads, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." And that's exactly what's going to happen. We've seen a precursor of that already with the C19, right? You basically kind of already see it now with certain places you go to, or certain items when you try to get them, man. But it's about to be at a very all-time high in this place, man. Imagine walking into a grocery store and aisle after aisle after aisle is scarce, it's empty. People are gonna bug out at the sight of that, man. Especially as we are inching closer to this quote-unquote holiday season, right? The Thanksgiving, all right, and the Christmas, where people are, doing a lot of purchasing and preparing to have, big meals and buy so much food and be all, gluttonous and so forth, man. These people are gonna be coming to a very rude awakening, man. All right, the partying and jolly ghost spirit of Babylon is about to be wiped away, man. And we're seeing it inch closer and closer to that, man. We're seeing the chess pieces put where it needs to be put. And just a matter of time until it fully pops off in this place, man. But we're seeing it already begin. And majority of our people aren't even paying attention to what's going on. They're more focused on clubbing. They're more focused on partying. They're more focused on the bullshit with these celebrities. They're more focused on, going out here being a harlot. But destruction is coming. Full-blown anarchy is coming. It's inevitable. That's why if you don't got the hedge of protection of Yahweh Shem Shai over you in these final days, you're done. You're cooked. I would behoove you to seek Yahweh Shem Shai and get right and repent before shit gets real bad out here, man. But hey, I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect of Israel. With that being said, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Ruel. Peace, blessings, salutations to the elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with heart sincerity. Until next time, Shalom, in a ball, Kwam Yasharallah, Shalom.